Hey yo YouTube, I am here to continue talking about my D&D game. And our last session, we just finished off with the Sacred Hunt. We pick up where we left off. Like Nina's like telling Onyx Scar to cut off the head, and Onyx Scar wants to take the hide, and like the DM tells us to wait. The Wimmick chieftain ends up coming up to us and telling us pretty much we have to continue the ritual. He tells Onyxgar to cut out the heart of the one he killed and eat it. Uh, Onyxgar points out that Kotaku killed the other one, and he's like, I'm aware and I've watched. And he does the same thing with Kotaku to make him to eat that one's heart. They tell us to eat the liver, and saying that we get first dibs, and like Beck starts like telling us how, because like Beck's from like more of a futuristic world or a more modern day world, and she starts telling us how like she's seen in a movie that if we don't do this ritual, they'll get mad at us and stuff like that. Pretty much, she starts making Game of Thrones references. Like at one point, she even tells Nina to go bite the heart. Um, Eventually, all of us either drink some of the blood or eat some of the raw meat, and it ends up giving all of us inspiration die. The DM says whether we have one or not already, because they don't stack, which none of us did anyways. He thought that I had one, but I didn't. So either then or later on that night, they do declare Onyxgar as a pride chief, and they do say that I get to go pick out some land. I tell them that I probably want something in the border in between their land and the Amazons. And I have control of Raw right this week, so I actually use them a lot, and I do a few things with them that we'll see how it turns out. But I make Raw right interested on the Amazons are like wearing like gold armor, so he ends up asking like how do the Amazons have yellow gold? And they pretty much tell him that that stuff's all over this land. So and before that night ends, like one of the other Wimmick tribes say that they were actually planning on calling a sacred hunt because pretty much they end up describing that Abbas appeared in their lands and stuff like that. Um, we tell them what Abbas are. Uh, they they pretty much say that that to counter them, they would have to do another sacred hunt or call forth another sacred hunt for everyone to gather. And apparently, they can't do it like 2 nights in a row. Like they have to wait a couple nights, and I believe, they end up deciding to wait for the next full moon. Um, the next morning, we go out and pick out whatever land we end up declaring as our prides. We do ask a few questions on like how much responsibility we have over the land. Pretty much, they say we have to guard it and stuff like that. Other Wimmicks might take it, uh, but really the only reason they would want it is if they want more hunting area or to take females, and since all of our females are human or not Wimmicks, we don't really have to worry about that second one. And we do say that we do have to tell the Amazons about the Abbas, and we kind of want to know what their opinion is on the. It would probably be best if the Wimicks and the Amazons joined forces. So, like that night, I want to say Nina got her vision to do the door, and so we head down to the Amazons, and we tell them that the Abbas are around, and they're kind of curious what we're gonna do because initially we said we're gonna do the mission and we're gonna get some mimics and then leave, and now they're like, now you're saying you're gonna stay, and I'm like, well, I'm saying if you need our help, we haven't left yet. And we end up discussing it for a while and deciding what we're gonna do. At the end, we end up saying the mission always comes first, and we end up leaving and heading back to Ganef City, or not Ganef City, the ROH, Rings of Heaven. I believe it's what it stands for. Uh, so we head back there, uh, report to their wise ones. Or actually, I want to say we might have to wait because like when we show up there, it's night. And when we first come through, like one of the people there is like a girl who works at ROH, and the DM tells us that Nina notices her, and that one of the people she was talking to earlier told her that this person's like a genius on maps. Like if we need a map made, that's who to go to, and he was told that he needs to or she needs to befriend her and get to know her. And then like we spend a lot of time bullshitting after that, because Nina at first Nina says she does a few things, but then she's like, I have to go to the bar, and she decides she wants to go to the bar and talk to the girl we just saw, and I could tell that Nina's player's about to take over and do so. So I'm like, hey, I go to the bar too, or I go to the bar. I also want to plan on going to the bar, or going to Penny's, the food hall place that's in Ring of Honor. Um, so I do a few things like I have because I say whenever Raw Right's been at Penny's, he's just been performing and stuff like that. And like the DM says that the most of the band are halflings. So I tell them that I ask the half because one in our world we keep on hearing about the Killis band, Kit's band, and I know from past experience that Kit was a bard in like our main campaign back in the day, and apparently now she has like a bard's guild. So I start asking questions about it, like what are the benefits, stuff like that. The halfling tells me that, or tells Raw right that they're also part of a bard's guild that are pretty much just halflings, and that Kit's group are mostly people who graduated from the academy. And I kind of ask about if if that's the only way you can be let in, like you can't just be talented. And he kind of says like, no, that's not the only way, but that's what majority of. Uh, the halfling tells Rollright that there are two like high names in that group that are sitting at a table over there. I do approach them, like tell them the typical stuff, like tell them I'm a bard, tell them like somewhat interested in their group, and then I tell them that I'm making up or that I've been writing a song based in an animal world. And pretty much I describe all of the main four characters in an animal form, where one's a lion, one's a white leopard, one's a bat, and I say Nina's a fast-tongued viper, and that they're on a mission to unite the lion prides, and I call it Brotherhood of the Cat in 9 parts. Um, the bard says he's interested. It turns out that the person Nina has to talk to is sitting at the table, so they come over, or Nina ends up coming over. Uh, Nina doesn't really talk to her about anything important, just getting to know her, ends up buying a bunch of drinks, and that table ends up partying most of the night. And then like initially Onyx Scar says he introduces the Wemmicks that we brought to other Wemmicks or to the Wemmicks area, and then he goes and he spars with Beck, and this is something I've been waiting for, because I just turned third level ranger, and once when I hit fifth level, I'm gonna take uh, vampires as my second favorite enemy and put all the points into that. And then so whenever I'm sparring with her, I start asking her vampire questions. I start asking her like weaknesses, like how should I expect sires and stuff like that to move like she does, older vampires. Um, Ask about because last session we talked about a 200-year-old vampire, and then eventually I do ask her like I don't think I ever heard what your sire was or how you escaped it, and she's like that's because no one ever asked, and I'm like well I'm asking now, and pretty much she just tells us that her sire was a loner. um I want to say he made her and then never watched her at all, and she just figured everything out on her own. Because of that, she ends up taking me and Nina aside and like pulls out a laptop and starts talking about how there's movies on it. And since we're D&D characters, we kind of act like we don't understand what she's talking about. Eventually, we do pull in Raw right because like if it's storytelling and he's a bard, like he'll probably want to know more stories, and also he might be able to understand it better. Eventually, she shows us Blade wanted to, and then I make it where Rawright's really interested in this, and she ends up showing Brotherhood of the Wolf because that's how Rawright dresses. Um, and then I say Rawright goes down to the bar and tells him the story of Blade. So I want to say that we get most of our information that we're going to get when we actually talk to the wise ones. Because I want to say we just went straight to bed and then waited for the morning. We might have talked to them immediately, but I don't remember. Um, but eventually we start talking to somebody, whether it's the wise ones or not, and they tell us that they found another door and that it's being guarded by the cult of Monger, which is the god of hate, which in this world they no longer have access to them, but apparently they have a bunch of like magical items and stuff like that, so they're still pretty dangerous. And they say that they want our group to be part of the campaign that's going to go take the door, and they want us to be the head of actually getting inside the door, where like all the other groups will clear the way, and then we'll come in. And we do a few other things, but because of all the role playing that even I was responsible for this time, uh, don't get to the fight, but we are pretty much right in front of it. So next session, hopefully, uh, go straight to trying to take this door and fighting the cult of Monger. Uh, and I do know that Raw Rise player is going to be here, so that's going to be interesting. Um, Future predictions besides fighting the cult of Monger. Hopefully, we can get two fights in this session since we didn't get any this one. Besides that, I don't know. Like I said, fight the Cultamonger, rest for a day, then hopefully go through the door and continue the mission. And we only have one more limit group left to go, so that's good. You want to know? Check out my next video. You want to know the whole story? Watch all my videos, and check you later.